Welcome back everybody to the Search Show 24/7, and this is the pilot episode of the CW spin-off show of Arrow entitled The Flash. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, The Flash. Now, I came across this pilot episode through the internet today. Now, I was trying to hold out. I was trying to hold out on not watching it and just watching it when it, airs on its original air date on the CW. But I was so bored at home today, guys. So I was like, whatever. I'll do it. I'll watch it. I was just super bored and I didn't really have nothing to do. So going into this, I was super excited because we got a little preview of Barry Allen in season 2 of Arrow, and I think he was in like two, I want to say 2 episodes of Arrow, and they were very great episodes of just introducing the character Barry Allen to this universe that they're trying to build around Arrow. Um, I just really enjoyed it, and you get that promise of they show you like that little glimpse like towards the end of like how the accident happens and stuff like that, and you're like, you gotta wait until the pilot guys. So you get that promise, and it looked cool at the time. And going into like this pilot and just watching it, I have to say it did a really good job of just introducing a character and establishing his origin stories in just like 45 minutes, and it did a really good job. I think it's a better pilot than the Arrow pilot. I think it's more it's just more cohesive, and I think the Arrow pilot was just all over the place for me. But what this show has, that it could benefit from, it has some of the same writers and some of the same creative team that works on Arrow, and now Arrow is going into its third season. So Flash can really, they can really find out like what really didn't work in the first season of Arrow, and they can make it work in the Flash. So that's just really exciting to that's just really exciting to just watch when you know that, oh well, season 1 Arrow was all crazy and the pilot was a little crazy. This pilot wasn't as crazy. It was very cohesive. It was very tight knit. Everything flowed together very nicely. They didn't prolong a lot of things that Arrow tends to do. And don't get me wrong, I think Arrow now is probably the greatest live action superhero show that we have. And I love Arrow. It's like my favorite show to watch. So, but that season 1, it had its very like noticeable flaws, but season 2 it found that, and and you can really tell that they're finding their niche with this Flash series because they had time to really pick off like the dirt and the bad things that was in Arrow, and they're fixing up in Flash. So that was just really cool. Now, what I liked about this episode, or this pilot episode of The Flash, is that it takes you right what happens right after Barry leaves, and it just goes through his backstory in the beginning when he was a kid to the moment his mother died, and how his father got framed for or got accused of murdering his mother when Barry and his father saw what actually happened. And it was like this big blur, flash type of electricity going around his mother, and then she died. But people blame like the father for killing her. So it has just a lot of like dark tones going for it. But once you meet Barry in like the present day and his older self, he has like this charm about him that Barry Allen has. You can tell he's always the smartest person in the room, but he has a very dry humor. But he still has like this vulnerability about him when he's around like Iris, and that was just another great character, because she was a character who I was worried about, because we have Laurel and Arrow. And now, if you watch my reviews of Arrow, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of Laurel, especially in season 1. Season 2, she's tolerable. She's getting a little bit better, but she's not the greatest of characters. So when Iris first came on, I was like, okay, first they made her black, which I don't really care. She's not that important of a character in the DC universe to where like changing her ethnicity is gonna like is the be all end all. I don't really care. She's doing great. But I do like the fact that they're taking liberty with these characters, and they're kind of changing it up for the year 2014. We need some black people on these shows. You got to have some black people on these shows. It's 2014, people. You can't really do anything about it. So she was a cool character. She wasn't as annoying. You can tell that her and Barry have this just great chemistry together. They benefit because they're childhood friends, and she's just not a character where I'm like, I don't want to see her on screen like I am with Laura. I'm more interested in her character because I feel like she has more to offer in this show than Laura does, and that's just the pilot episode that I'm saying this with. So that's just a good sign for her character. Her dad, uh, who's very vital in this pilot episode. He does a great job. He does a more important job than like Detective Lance is in Arrow, like because I don't know, for some reason, like I said, I think they found what was really wrong in the first season of Arrow, and they kind of fixed it for Flash. I think he does a way better detective job and officer job than Detective Lance does any day, if you ask me. And I do like Detective Lance, but Detective Lance is not the best detective in the world. Or Officer Lance, whatever you want to call him. But I love the fact that at the end of this episode, you get that reveal, like, oh, now he knows who Barry is. He knows that Barry is the Flash and stuff, and that's really cool. But he does like that same cliche thing, like, oh, you're a hero, so don't tell my daughter, my hot daughter, like what you do, because I don't want her in danger. And we all know that's going to happen anyway. So I thought it was just funny that they had to put that in there. My head is super shiny. I'm sorry. Bald people problems. But it's just another thing that I like that they did. I like that they didn't drag it out. They started from day one and they showed you, okay, he's the Flash, and we're going to tell somebody important that he's the Flash and let them know. We're not going to drag it out and prolong it for so long. So I really just enjoyed that they did that, and they just took that chance and that opportunity to just do it, and they didn't really care about the consequences. Another thing that's really good about this pilot is it has great, it just has great moments. The Flash, when he's like running and stuff, it looks cool. The only real nitpick I have with like the whole running thing is like I like the wide shots, but when you just kind of see like kind of the outline of him and him doing this, but when it goes to the close-up shots and when he's like this, I don't like that for some reason. I don't. It's that same thing when it was done in like Smallville when Clark was like just running like this, and you can tell like he's just kind of running slow mo and they're speeding it up. I don't like that. I like kind of like the the wide shot of him just kind of like that. And I never like when they run with their fists like this. Flash doesn't run like this. That was a one nitpick of this episode I didn't like, because when the close-ups he's like this with the fists like this. No, in the comic books, Flash runs like this. So when they do the wide shots, he's not doing this, he's doing this. So that's why I think I like the wide shots when he's running like that. That's just like a little nitpick for me. So for me, I would like to see just more of those like wide shots of Flash instead of close-ups. I don't really like close-up shots that much. But for a CW show, it looks great. The suit looks cool at first when you first saw like the pictures and stuff. It looked kind of weird and stuff, but it looks cool now. Once you take it into context, it looks cool. They explain like how it is important to Barry, and why he should wear it and stuff. So that's really really cool. Like just like the supporting characters are really good in this show. Or they seem like they're going to be really good in this show. So I really like that. Another thing that was just cool is that you get your first like kind of super villain of the show, who's in the form of Weather Wizard or Wizard Weather. I think it's Weather Wizard, the Weather Wizard. Um, and you get his kind of origin story too. And what was cool about that is he's played by like Clyde, but his brother, who dies in the pilot, Mark. I think his name's Mark. He's the original like wizard, weather wizard guy. So I like the fact that they killed the original guy, which is the brother who died in the plane crash, and had the younger brother Clyde become a weather wizard. So that was really cool. They're taking liberties with these characters, and like I say, he's not that important of a villain to where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they changed the name and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, I think the show has a lot of potential. I love the fact that they brought around, they really tied it in with Arrow by bringing Oliver into the episode for just like a little cameo, and how because when we first met Barry in Arrow, you can really tell that he was very fascinated with the arrow, and he was very inspired by the arrow, and he looked up to the arrow. So it only makes sense that he goes back to get advice from Oliver, who is the arrow, because he looks up to Oliver. So I love the fact that they tied that in, and they just show like the importance of who the arrow is to Barry Allen, and why he would want to be a superhero, because his favorite person is a superhero. The one guy he looks up to is a superhero. So that's just very interesting to bring around. But overall, like I said, this pilot episode was really good. It was really fascinating. I think it has a lot of potential. Um, a lot of cool things that happen. A lot of great moments. Like I said, the only thing I really didn't like was just like the close up running. Um, but for a CW show that has to do a lot with like super speed and stuff like that, the effects look really good. And I love the fact that that they explain like the whole metahuman things and how they're brought into this universe. So I'm super excited, guys. What do you guys think about this pilot episode? If you saw it, if you're like a bad kid like me and you saw it online, I'm super sorry, CW. You still have my attention, and I'll still be there for the premiere when it comes out on the CW on TV. I'll still be there, and you still got my views, so don't even worry about that. But please like this video, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought, and as always, this is The Search Show 24/7. Be easy.